So, Alpha Bravo 3 for your radio, and put your volume to where it's pointing straight up, okay? So that should give you a pretty good, to where it's not too loud, okay? Because you still, that's about not quite 50%. So here's what I'll do. I'll put this thing on my hip. Alpha Bravo 3. There you go. Okay, so Alpha Bravo 3. We got it?
Northwest RO3.
Yes. Okay, so we're on Alpha Bravo 3. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this antenna as my guide. Remember how I talked about using it, if I grab it by the antenna, pull it out of my pocket, and use it as a guide to slide down. Same thing if it's on my waistband here. I'm just going to use this as a guide, slide my finger down, and touch it like that. And it goes off that quick and that easy. And it makes a tone different from mine, from yours, but we both got that tone alert. And I've got this open mic for 10 seconds. So anything I say is transmitted. So during that 8 seconds, I could say, you know, look, if you don't want us in here, we'll get out of here and just let me back out of here. So you're trying to talk your way out of your situation. You got to have that desire to get out of there and communicate your needs. So they're picking up on that, hopefully. Let's say it's a bad day for them and they're not picking up on that. So now they want to go engine 40, Charlie, check par. Okay? Because we're on engine 40. Okay? So you don't answer them. So now the guy with the gun is saying, man, you need to call him. So you give him the reverse opposite. But let's say he doesn't. Let's say you can do this. You can, let's do this, okay? If I hit the button a second time, watch what happens. I don't get the open mic for 10 seconds again, okay? It put the tone out there, but I already had an active alert. We had not reset. So I don't get that open mic again. If for some reason you want that open mic again, then really what you need to do is, and I'm going to turn my radio off, but I'm going to hit it again. Okay, so it goes off, but I got that open mic now for 10 seconds. I'm sorry, I don't. Here's what I need to do. I got it turned off, but the point is it's not turned off. Okay, I still have power going to it. Once you hit your orange button, and until you reset it, your radio will not turn off. So if I do this, if I change it from 3 to 4 and then back to 3, it will activate again, and I will get that open mic for 10 seconds, and anything I say gets activated again or transmitted again. And the only reason why it's making that noise is because y'all are all right together and your radios are pointing one right after the other. Okay? So they're rebroadcasting each other a little bit there. I can switch off. Now, what if I just switch from 3 to 4? No.
So you don't have two ways, turn it off or take the battery off.
Right. Now think about what I did here. Okay? I'm in this bad situation. Let's say I just turn it off and I just want to stand here like this. I'm going to stand here with my radio in my hand because the bad guy hasn't taken the radio away from me. Okay? If I'm the only one in there, somebody turn your radio down just a little bit. If I'm the only one in there and I've got my radio turned off, then I'm transmitting. And I can do this the whole time without him knowing it. So the bad guy doesn't know that I got my radio keyed open. Now even with it, now the advantage is turning it off is I don't have to worry about anybody calling back to me. So if somebody's communicating out there and they're trying to talk about what the situation is, the bad guy doesn't get to hear it. I don't need to hear it because I know help's on the way. I don't need to know what their tactic is going to be. I just need to know that they're coming. So I can key up. So remember, that 60-second timer is still in effect. So if I key up for 60 seconds and then 61 seconds rolls around, I'm going to get knocked off. All I got to do is release and rekey, and I get another 60 seconds. Okay? Because it overrides the orange button. And that's so that it's not an accidental stuck mic. Okay? So, what if I just switch from 3 to 4? Okay? If I just switch from 3 to 4, it's still going to go off. I still get that open mic, but there's nobody there. Nobody's going to hear me talking. Now, OEC will get an alert, okay, and they'll have something come up on their consoles. But if nobody's on 4, then nobody is going to hear me. They know that they got to move somebody over to 4 to hear what's going on. So in that 8 to 10 seconds that I had that open mic, I might have lost it. So it's only on 3 where somebody already was. So that's why I would do that go to 4 and then back to 3 thing. And that's only if you want that open mic without pushing anything. But the better thing is turn your radio off and then key up, and then they can hear what you're saying without them knowing it. Now, if 2 or 3 or 4 of you are in there, then everybody turn their radio off. The one that's activated, okay, so first what I'll do is reset, press and hold, okay, and then it'll take about 30 seconds for it to reset. And then these things will clear off to where emergency received is no longer there. But less than 30 seconds, it could go longer, okay? So it's cleared out, and I'm on RO3 again, okay? So here's what I'm going to do. Let's say it is a crew of 4, and all 4 of us are in there. Everybody needs to be turning their radio off except for the one person that's going to do it. And you have it on that lowest volume, okay, right there at the click. Hit the button, turn it off. That quick. So now I've got that open mic, and it's active, and nothing has been heard right here. So nobody in the group is giving that bad guy the information that we've transmitted an alert. And I had that open mic for 10 seconds, and if I'm in the back of the 4 of us, I can still stand here with that radio keyed open, okay? And if I let go or key up, the only way they're going to know is if he happens to be looking at my radio to see the red light. So if I'm standing here like this and I'm covering that red light and it's picking up voice, okay? Now, what does change is, remember, we got 2 mics, one front, one back. It picks up everything as background noise now. So if I did hold it up like this, it's going to pick me up, and if the bad guy is yelling at me in the background, it's going to cancel him out. Okay? So it's almost better to be holding it down here to hold it like that, as long as that's not going to piss them off enough to shoot you. If you don't want to take that chance, then don't do it. So you can even do it where you have it on your side and you hold that button like that. Okay? But that's a little bit more obvious. At least this way, it's disguised. But the problem is where you start off when the bad guy finds you and says, don't move. Okay? So, we talked about more than one person hitting the button and all that kind of stuff. We talked about changing talk groups. Where does it work? Where does it not work? This is where it does and doesn't work. I'm going to show it to you in color because that's much easier to identify. Okay? See how we got the orange going across there? The orange is in these yellow zones. That's where it does work, the 5 yellow zones. Okay? HFD East, West, Medical, because it will work on a med group. Okay? And it works on arson and inspection for them, and it works in special ops for them. Okay? Now, what if I happen to be having that bad radio day that we were talking about a while back, where I didn't lock my bank button and I accidentally changed it from Alpha Bravo to Bravo Bravo? Let's go do that. Okay?
Bravo, Bravo.
So I'm on Bravo Bravo 3, which is City of Houston number 3. Okay? Watch what happens when I hit that orange button. Absolutely nothing. Okay? It picked up the initial beep of being transmitted, but nothing happened. So now my brain kicks in and says, stupid, you need to go EC1. So I flip it up to OEC1, and now I'm going to broadcast on OEC1. Okay? And now I got my open mic for 8 seconds on there on OEC1. Okay? And now I've got to go in there. I just cut off. Okay? So that's how you can save yourself having that bad radio day. If you're in Bravo Bravo, you're okay, because you got OEC1 up there again, or Bravo Charlie. Worst place to be is Charlie Bravo, okay, or Charlie Alpha, okay? Who hit it? No? Nobody hit it?
Said emergency call, but I didn't receive. I got my receipt, so I didn't receive.
Well, one of y'all hit the orange button.
And I haven't received.
Are you on Bravo, Bravo 1?
Bravo, Bravo 1.
Yeah.
Okay, do me a favor, everybody, just take your battery out. Just pull your battery out. Now, we do have another group over there at HPD's Academy. We got District 102 over there right now, but they're supposed to be operating on Alpha Alpha. They're,
If you sent it, it wouldn't say received on the screen, right?
Bravo, Bravo.
yes, it will.
Oh, really? I didn't know you sent it. It was really cool. My hands were down low. My hands were down low the whole time.
Yeah, wasn't me. Anyway, remember, if you accidentally do it, you got to man up and say, when they go check PAR, you got to say PAR okay. Yeah. Okay, so the worst place to be really is Charlie Alpha, okay? Because then you got to hit that bank button not one more time, but 2 more times, okay? That's the worst place to be, is that Charlie Alpha, because now you got to navigate your bank button 2 more times, and then you're back into an HFD friendly to where you can put off your emergency alert, okay? So what else can we talk about here? Cutting over to the digital. Here's what we need everybody out there in the station doing, and that is you're going to be in Echo Bravo starting March the 20th, okay? From now until then, and even after March the 20th, go out and check your designated areas, okay? Any place that you know that you have radio problems, and if your area is crystal clear and you got no problems, then just train with the radio. Get yourself comfortable and confident. But more than likely, I'll bet there's some spots that you know of that you have radio problems. So go test them out, okay? Find them. And if your radio is working there, then great. You've got the confidence to know that you're going to be in a good protected environment when you need it, okay? But if you pick a building that has a couple of stairwells and FCC, and you can have 3 people in those spots, have somebody outside, and y'all can talk to each other. If it works, great, fine. If not, we want you to report the problem to. And that's another job of that NOC center. The NOC is going to handle your problems, because the people they got down there, they can pull up on the computer and see every line entry. So you power on a radio, it makes an entry. You change a talk group, it makes an entry. You change a bank or a zone, it makes an entry. You key up and try to talk, it makes an entry in there. So if the person in stairwell A is able to transmit and receive, and the person in the fire command center is able to send and receive, but the person in stairwell B can receive but not transmit, then call them and let them know. Try it out on 2 different talk groups and then let them know. But you want to call them right then, as long as it's not an active incident that you're on. Take care of the incident. But then when you're done with the incident, you want to call them and let them know. Okay? Now they don't have people answering this phone 24/7. They've also got an answering service that they are trained to take down the information. They will let you, they will get your information, your callback stuff, and they will have a technician calling you within 5 minutes if they can't, if you're not talking directly to them. Okay? So about the last week of April, we're going to be making the final cutover. There'll be another bulletin that'll come out then, and it'll say exactly what date and what time and all that kind of stuff that we're going to make that cutover. But then we would going from Echo Bravo into the final system, having already been in these radios for 6 weeks. But bottom line is, you get out there and you test them out, you're going to be giving us feedback. We don't hear anything from you. The feedback is everything's working. If you go out there and have problems, let us know. You run it up your food chain through your district chief, and that district chief can let the deputy know, and so on. We're going to get feedback that it's a problem. Because if we got problems, we don't want to make the switch over. We made that mistake last summer. We don't want to make it a second time. Because now, then everybody's belief in the system goes spiraling downward. And that's the last thing we need, is for nobody to believe in the system. So our backup system. We've got these controllers, and they run the system. We've got we've got 2 at the HEC Center, and then 3 and 4 are up here at the airport on the property somewhere. Okay? It only takes 1 controller to run the system, and that does it citywide as well as each of the zones. Okay? As it switches from one controller to the other, it will go through what's called site trunking for about 20 or 30 seconds. Okay? While it's going through that site trunking, it's making all the system changeovers and stuff like that. We lose the ability to use citywide talk groups while it's in site trunking. So if it's only 20 or 30 seconds, it's no big deal. But if it's going to be permanent, if we lose site trunking in an entire quadrant or the entire city, now we're having a really bad radio day. Because it's going to take a devastating event, either hurricanes knocking down towers, tornadoes after the hurricanes knocking down towers, or some type of act of sabotage. And that would be somebody blowing up our towers or somebody sticking a virus into that controller system. Because those controllers are not connected to the internet. So it would have to be intentional for that to happen. So we're going to go old school because we don't have citywide. Now our runs are going to be given to us on Alpha Alpha 3, Alpha Alpha 10, Alpha Bravo 3, and Alpha Bravo 10. Now because we got 6 talk groups that are available for operations, now OEC can give us the ability to say, okay, Southwest Quadrant, you're going to get your runs on Alpha Bravo 10, but we want you to respond on Alpha Bravo 11. That way it frees up that traffic because you're not getting that computerized dispatcher giving you those voices anymore. And your MDC may or may not work anymore, okay? We don't know. But for sure, you're going to be able to communicate with each other, okay? So within that quadrant, all your radios will still function. This just shows you how the southeast quadrant in-site trunking can still communicate with the hex center. It's just they can't communicate with the other quadrants of the city. So even after all that, we end up in fail-soft, okay? That's the next level down or the next level up, whichever way you want to look at it, of how bad our radio system is working, okay? We go into fail-soft, we start losing features. Our emergency button is not going to work. It's kind of like our body shutting down to preserve the brain, the heart, and the lungs. The radio is shutting down extra functions to where it can preserve the ability to transmit and receive, okay? Even if we lose our system completely, the radio is still does not become a piece of junk then. You can still have the ability to communicate. They could put us on that Bravo Bravo, Bravo Charlie, or that Echo Alpha. Those talk groups in there we can use, or we could end up on some of the Harris County stuff. Any way you look at it, we're having a bad radio day. Okay, move your radios to Delta Alpha 16, and we need to look for this code right here. It'll flash back and forth between the T-Introp and the FD 120512. That is December the 5th of last year. Just simply means that's the date of the last software update given. If they call your fire station and tell you, hey, you need to turn on all your radios to receive a software update, they're not yanking your chain. That's how you'll get a software update. It'll tell you that, and then you just when it's done, your display screen will say power off. You'll turn it off, and then you'll turn it back on, just like restarting a computer, and you're good to go. So everybody got that? No problems? Okay, good deal. Okay, now go to Alpha Bravo 2. Alpha Bravo 2. We're going to run you through some exercises. Develop a little muscle memory here. To direct, it only works in the UHF. Okay, so remember, it's only during that 6 weeks that we're in these new radios, but we're in the old UHF system. The direct will allow us to communicate in building coverage without hitting the repeaters. No different than being in your old radio. Okay, once we get into the final system, we won't need direct because we got that 48 tower system. Okay. So we're going to run through some exercises. Engine 6, they're making a car fire in the northwest quadrant. They're going to get dispatched on Alpha Bravo. What are they going to respond on?
Alpha Bravo 3.
There you go. So change your radio to Alpha Bravo 3. Okay. They need to request an arson unit. Okay. Where do they make that request for arson? Alpha Bravo 3. There you go. Okay. Okay, so they make their request. Remember, nothing has changed procedurally, okay? We're getting new talk groups and all this kind of stuff, but procedurally, nothing has changed. You make a request on TAC 2 for an arson unit, then they come over to TAC 2 and they talk to us. They still have their own private talk groups right now. We just don't have the ability to even know where they're at on a radio. Okay? So they go back in service. They're on Alpha Bravo 2. Okay, now let's go to the northeast quadrant. Medic 34, they're going to make a chest pain call. Okay, so what are they going to get dispatched on? Look at your fleet map if you can't remember. Alpha 2. So go to Alpha 2. Remember, we don't need to change the banks. We're just changing zones. Okay, so keep that locking switch locked because that way you don't come out. Remember, 99% of our changes are not going to involve that bank. Just the zone or talk group or both. Okay, so they're responding on Alpha 3. Okay, so go to TAC 3 for that east side. Okay, now they're going to request they need to talk to that medical operator so that they can communicate with about their chest pain patient. Okay, where do they go to talk to that medical operator? Alpha Charlie what? Close.
Alpha Charlie 2.
Alpha Charlie 2. Very good. Go. We're going to go to Alpha Charlie 2. Okay. So they're on Alpha Charlie 2. They talk to that medical operator. Medical operator says go to Med 6. Where's Med 6?
Alpha Charlie 6.
There you go.
Bam.
Bam. We're there. So they talk about how bad their chest pain is, transport their patient. They go back in service. They're back on Alpha 2. Okay? Let's go southeast. District 46 is going to make a box alarm. What are they going to get dispatched on?
Alpha Bravo 2.
How about
Alpha 2.
Alpha 2? How many choices do I get?
That's why you got this.
Okay. So they're getting dispatched on Alpha 2. They're going to respond on what? On 10. Okay. So go to Alpha 10. Where do they make the request for attack? District 46 needs to request attack. Same thing. No, he makes the request there on 10. Now they're going to be given more than likely either 11 or 16. So OEC comes back and says go to TAC 16. So now we're going to go to TAC 16, Alpha 16. Engine 35 gets on location. They say tap it out holding engine 35 only. What does engine 35 do? They go back to Alpha 10. There you go. Okay? So now everybody else is going to go back in service on Alpha 2. Okay. Let's go southwest. Ambulance 82 is going to make an MVA.
Alpha Bravo 2.
Thank you. Telekinetic. So they're going to respond on Alpha Bravo 2. I'm sorry, they're going to get dispatched on Alpha Bravo 2, and they're going to respond on
Alpha Bravo 10. 2.
Thank you. 10. 10. Respond on. Think about it. Dispatched on, respond on. Okay? So they need to talk to a supervisor for their no transport. Where do they make that request? Not yet.
On 10.
Yep. Remember, no procedural changes yet. Only if there's a procedural change, and then it's whatever OEC tells you to do, that's what you do. So they talk to OEC, they request a supervisor, they're told to go to TAC 12. So they go to Alpha 12. I'm sorry, Alpha Bravo 12. They go back in service on Alpha Bravo 2 after that supervisor says, good job, guys. Y'all go back in service after you get your autograph. Okay, let's do a mutual aid. Kingwood is going to go mutual aid to Tascasita. So Kingwood gets dispatched on.
Alpha 2.
There you go, Alpha 2. Remember, dispatching is always 2. So they're going to respond on Alpha 3 because they're northeast. Now they need to go to Harris County Mutual Aid number 2. Where's that?
Charlie Alpha 2.
Charlie Alpha 6. There you go, Charlie Alpha 6. So go to Charlie Alpha 6. Now, remember we talked earlier, this is your 1%er. We haven't had to change a bank button yet until now. All these exercises. Setting down life flight, going on a mutual aid call, and going to the training academy. Those are your 3 occasions to be changing that bank button. So you go to Charlie Alpha 6, you take care of your assistants with Atascocita. They say thanks, go back in service. So you do, back on Alpha Alpha 2. One more exercise. One more. Engine and ladder 28, they're going to make an elevator rescue. So they're southwest quadrant, they get dispatched on.
Alpha Bravo 2.
There you go, Alpha Bravo 2. They're going to respond on
Alpha Bravo 3.
10, south.
Oh, that's south. I got to read it again.
So they're going to go on Alpha Bravo 10, okay? They're going to split up. The senior captain decides they're going to use the local, so they're going to communicate with each other on local. Where's local found?
Alpha Charlie 15.
Very good, Alpha Charlie 15.
Oh, he's cheating. He's cheating.
He was reading ahead.
He's Charlie.
That's okay.
Alpha Bravo 2.
Alpha Charlie 15. They do their communication on there. They go back in service on Alpha Bravo 2. Okay, here's your last thing, guys. We need to make sure your radios look like this. They either need to have a dust cover on them like mine, or they need to have a pigtail on them like yours. One or the other. Because Motorola wants $12 a pop for these things. So, if you got them laying around here from when you put your pigtails on, I'd be happy to take them back to the radio shop for you. If you don't have them, that's okay. Any questions? Okay, guys, y'all have a good day.